And we are live. Welcome to The Process. It is Monday, January 17th. I am Josh Engleman, and I'm here to break down I don't know what size slate today. We've got the MLK slate, and we have games all day. From 12 o'clock or 12:30 all the way up until your normal lock and then some. So I don't entirely know how I'm going to do this yet, but we'll start here. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Now, I mentioned this at the end of last week. I got to mention it again. No process show on Wednesday. I'm going to be away from my house for the entire day, so nothing coming out from me on Wednesday, but we are here today and tomorrow. We are here Thursday and Friday. This is a wild slate. So start times for today: 12:30, 1, 2, 3, 3:30, 3:30, 6, 7, 7:30, 8:30, 8:30, 10:30. We have the entire day from 12:30 p.m. through 10:30 p.m. We've got 11 basketball games. I don't know what the best way to tackle this is. It seems to me like I'm just going to have to do all of it, which is going to make for a very long Monday process show. What else do we have to do, though? I don't think there's an answer. So I'm going to dive in right now, if that works for you guys, because this seems like the only way to do it. We got a lot of games to get through. We'll try to move as quick as we can, particularly on the later games. We won't spend too much time trying to dig in, and then we'll run optimals for the early slates. No need to do anything too aggressive for the end of the night. There's too much going on today where it's not really going to do us any good to focus on the 5-gamer tonight. So that's where we stand. Boy, oh boy, am I excited for this. I have my coffee. I hope that you guys do as well. Or whatever it is that you start your morning with, whether that's a nice frosty glass of H2O, tea, beers, whatever you're doing. If you got a joint this morning, that'll be fun. I couldn't do it, but I appreciate those that can. So cheers to you guys. Rise and grind. That's what we've got going on right now. At least we've got a bunch of slates to play basketball on today. So cheers to you guys. Good morning. I hope you had a good weekend. Let's start this week off strong. Whew. That is necessary. So let's get into it. First game up, New Orleans Pelicans taking on the Boston Celtics. And I do have one thing that I need to change quickly, but we do have what looks like a fully available New Orleans Pelicans team, which makes life significantly easier. All right, Herb Jones needs a name right there. So this one should actually be pretty simple. Oh, guess not. All right, so I don't really think that I have too much that I want to change here. We know Josh Hart and Herb Jones, and like we kind of just know this rotation. So I don't really have too much to think about here in terms of swapping these guys around. I'm going to take 1 minute off of Herb Jones, take him down to 33, but like I guess like Brandon Ingram in for 35 seems reasonable. Devontae Graham in for 32 seems reasonable. Joe Val in for 32 seems reasonable. So I think that I have the rotation that I'm looking for already for New Orleans. And just to play, I do want to make sure that we're grabbing correct rates for everybody. So let's go ahead and say this is going to be games that Joe Val and Brandon Ingram both played, because I don't think that there's anybody else on the team that's really driving all that much. Maybe we say that it's a game that Devontae Graham also played, but they haven't had many like crazy things happen. Oh, good eye, SMP. Maybe I should go ahead and switch the view so that you guys can see what I'm doing on the screen. I had no idea. None at all. Appreciate you. I dove right into it a little bit faster than I was expecting. And I do got to give that shout out to Prize Picks for being the presenting sponsor. 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. If you go to awesemo.com/prizepicks-promo, you can see it at the top of the screen. Look, Mondays are tough for me. You get out of that rhythm of doing this every day. By Friday, I'm a well-oiled machine. Monday, I'm the opposite of that. I've got no oil to speak of. So now we can see what we're doing here. We'll get the games that Joe Val and Brandon Ingram have both played, which should be a large swath of games at this point. We just want to make sure that we're getting the right rates, because there's nobody else that I really need to like take off or put on, or I think this sort of just like serves its purpose. So I built myself a little quick copier to grab the PBP stats info, mostly so that I can get the assists and everything as quickly as possible. Because really what we're looking for are usage rates, assist rates, and rebounding rates. Otherwise, the rest of it I generally think is just easy to figure out. Like, I don't think that people become shot blockers or not shot blockers. Did I miss Willie Hernangomez there? Apparently. So we can quickly grab that, or at least quickly to me. And we can hop back here. We'll go to there. So Brandon Ingram, in games where he and Joe Val both played, 29% usage rate, Joe Val 24%. So much as I suspected, I didn't have anything to really change here. Assist rate also not really changing for any of these guys. It's sort of... Devontae Graham's actually goes down quite a bit, and Josh Hart's actually goes up quite a bit. So we will go ahead and switch those two guys a little bit. Yeah, I don't really love the slate layout for today either. It seems overly manicured. I hate that it's different. It makes it really hard to do content. Like, FanDuel and DraftKings in this case should want us to talk about it in the best way possible, and they didn't. That is not the case for today. Rebounding rate for Ingram is 7. Yeah. Joe Val 13. Okay, so we don't really have anything else to change here. So Pelicans are in the books. That one was quick. Boston Celtics. Again, 216 total in this one. Celtics are pretty sizable favorites. What do we have here for Boston? So we're going to be bouncing this stuff all over the place. Lots of windows now. Lots of moving around. So no Marcus Smart. Health and safety protocols. Otherwise, everybody else is in, which means that this is going to look much like the rotation has for the past 3 games. We get Jason Tatum in for his standard issue 36. Jaylen Brown in for 36. Time Lord in for 31. Horford, 28 seems about right. Freedom seems to be playing like one main rotation. Schroeder seems to be the guy getting most of the minutes. Jay Rich on the opposite end of that, something in that 28, 29 range, which means that everything else just sort of falls into place. Probably have too many minutes going to Grant Williams. It's fine. Doesn't really change anything here. And I already know that the Boston rates are where I want them to be, so we don't really have anything else that we want to change here. We could take a look at this first game. This is the 12:30 start. Pelicans, Josh Hart looks solid. Joe Val looks solid. No major priorities here. Joe Val for 7,400 on FanDuel is probably the best option in this game. On the Boston side, now the DraftKings prices for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Dennis Schroeder are great. Schroeder for 5,500. Jaylen Brown for 8,900. Jason Tatum for 9,100 is the most broken price tag. That is the best thing we've seen in this game. So Tatum on DraftKings, along with Brown and Schroeder, but just different tiers altogether. On FanDuel, these guys are all priced pretty appropriately to their ceilings. No major changes. I'd say that any of the starting 5 looks pretty similar. One down. 11 more to go. Charlotte Hornets up next. New York Knicks. So this is a 217 total, which is one of the lower totals. It's possible, depending on what the Knicks are doing today, that they actually look decent for once because of playing Charlotte. The question for Charlotte is anybody else out? And it's still just Oubre out. And with Oubre out, that means we're doing the exact same rotations that we've been doing. They did kick the tires on Ish Smith a little bit, which isn't totally surprising, but they have been running this core 8-man rotation. I've got Bridges in for 36 minutes. Honestly, it feels like I should probably be going a little bit heavier on Bridges. Rozier in for 38. I got to go to 36 there. I'm going to go to 37 on Bridges. Gordon Hayward has played 36 in each game, so I am going to go that way as well. LaMelo feels fine at 34. Cody Martin, 28. Mason Plumlee has played more the past 2 games. PJ Washington has not. So who do I want to give these minutes to? Cody Martin at 28 feels a little too high. So let's give one more to Bridges. Let's take Bridges to 38. He seems pretty firm in that mark. But I don't think that 26 for PJ Washington makes all that much sense. I'm going to take him down to 25. We're going to take Plumlee to 25. And then we'll save that 1 extra minute for Ish. We know the rates are all the same. We've had this team for 3 games now. So then we can go to New York. Now, this is one where anybody could be in, and I would believe it. So for the Knicks, we have Q tag on Kemba Walker. No Reddish. No Rose. No Nerlens Noel. So this actually should be pretty easy. We've got... the Kemba piece complicates matters. I mean, Kemba has been out for 8 games now. Do we know anything about his actual status? Because I do think that matters today. See, this is tricky. Does he become a starter again? Should he? I've got him in from the last time. Didn't play. I don't think he's just going to come in and play big minutes. Maybe I'm wrong. Could be wrong. But I'm going to give Alec Burks 30. I've got Kemba in. I've got Quickly in. I've got Fournier in for 26. Now he's been playing more as of late. I don't know if that matters if Kemba comes back. The only guys that I feel comfortable with are Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. And then the centers. I'm going to go with this rotation right now. I don't have a great feel for the Knicks, but I do have their rates in. I do have them corrected. So that's this game, actually. Oddly enough, kind of easy. So for the Hornets, loving Miles Bridges, 7,800 on FanDuel, 7,600 on DraftKings. He's just, he's going to play upwards of 40 minutes. That is important, especially if things break correctly. Clearly, Gordon Hayward at 6,400 and 6,500 looks appealing across both sites. LaMelo is 8,200 on FanDuel. I mean, to me, that's the best option from Charlotte. 9K on DraftKings puts him behind Bridges and Hayward. I get to a bit less Terry Rozier at these prices, but still looks good. And you could work in Cody Martin, Mason Plumlee, and PJ Washington, too. I think that's totally fine. By the way, guys, 75 viewers, 25 likes. Hit that like button. Mark, by the way, I don't want the chaos of the 10. If I didn't have to do content, I wouldn't care about the 10-day contracts just because I'm going to do the work anyway. But it does make for a really big chore of doing this. On the Knicks side, Julius Randle looks exceptional. 8,300 on FanDuel, 8,700 on DraftKings. Pace up spot, bad defense. He is in he's got a really nice opportunity here. I think I have him projected pretty well. Mitchell Robinson would be 2. And then if Kemba's back, I just don't see it. Like Barrett's price is too expensive. Kemba on FanDuel could be interesting if he starts. I just don't know if he starts this first game back. It's just so hard to trust Tibbs. So that's game number 2. We're on to game number 3 now. Philadelphia 76ers, 2.5 point favorites in Washington. 212 total here. Don't have any idea what's available and healthy for the Sixers right now. So it's no Matisse Thybulle, no Shake Milton, no Danny Green. So we'll get Thybulle out of there. We already knew we had Danny Green out. We already knew we had Shake Milton out. So in theory, this is a pretty easy rotation for the Philadelphia 76ers. We're going to bump up George Niang's minutes. And we're going to shift some of the minutes here to Tobias Harris. Joel Embiid is in. I guess I got to bump Maxey, and I might actually have to bump Harris too if we think about it. Yeah, with some of these guys out, they've concentrated this rotation. So I'm taking Maxey to 36 minutes. He's just going to fly off the page. We're going to have to... I'm going to look into these rates because Adam and I have this conversation pretty regularly. And so we'll take Curry to 36. We're going to take Tobias to 36 as well. And we definitely need to take Korkmaz, I think, to 30, just because of who's in and who's out. We already have Isaiah Joe in for 13. Looks like Charlie Brown is going to be the other guy. So we'll go 14 here and 16 here. I don't care too much about Charlie Brown's rates, but Tyrese Maxey is playing massive minutes. Now, here's the key piece for Philly. If we know that Tobias Harris is playing, that Joel Embiid is playing, and that Tyrese Maxey is playing, let's even say started. Every game that these guys have started, which is going to be a non-trivial amount. Like, Tyrese Maxey still has a 19.8% usage rate in games that he starts with Harris and Embiid. They're 12-7 in those games, but like, I can't cut his rates any further. He just looks really good relative to like his price and everything that he's had to do this season. So I don't really have any rates to change. I still have them in, but 19.8% usage rate. Like, that's a real number. He's got 73 assists in 1,258 possessions. That's 5.8% assist rate per possession. It's exactly where I have it in right now. So that's Philly for me, and Maxey's once again going to be my favorite guy. I'm going to have to talk to Adam about it when we get to it. Let's talk Washington now. Wizards are a complicated breed. I don't really know who's in and out. Q-tag on Beal coming out of the protocols. Bertans is back. Good morning, Michael. I don't really... Well, one, I got a sneeze chambered, which sucks. I don't want that sneeze to come, but it's right here. It's coming now. Good sneeze. One of those morning wake-up sneezes. I guess we're putting Beal in. I mean, I don't know how not to, if he could be. Which does make, like, projecting the rest of this really annoying, just because we have to make the changes. But let's go ahead and pop Bradley Beal in here for his 36 minutes. And then we need to just start shaving minutes clear across the board, especially with Bertans back now. So we've got Bertans back. We've got Rui here. We've got Thomas Bryant, Montrezl Harrell, and Daniel Gafford. I have everybody in right now, and that is about to complicate matters in a considerable way. I mean, I think Corey Kispert just has to fully leave the rotation. I don't think they want that to happen, but I don't know who else it would be. Like, for sure, I can bring Dinwiddie's minutes down to 31. And I'm going to say that Neto is just the backup, but they're not cutting KCP or Kuzma. And unless one of Rui or Bertans or the big men are going to sit, I think Corey Kispert's just going to leave the rotation. And we're going to do something like that. I don't really know how I feel here about the Wizards, other than I assume they just don't look good. And that's what makes this PvP stats a little bit easier. So in games that Bradley Beal and Spencer Dinwiddie both play, and I guess we can say Kuzma too, since they probably have a big enough sample, we can get a really good idea of the rates for these guys. Like, they have 23 games where Beal, Dinwiddie, and Kuzma have all played. That makes things really simple. So let's go ahead and grab rates now, because we had Beal out, and that does not help us at all. So we'll get Beal in for usage. We'll get them in for assists. And it's a pretty big sample, too, so we should feel pretty good about the conclusions that we come to here. And then finally, we grab rebounds. Particularly defensive rebounds. Aviv, thank you so much for that. Do I make enough off of DFS earnings alone for a living? I don't try to. I make a very good living just from working at Awesemo. DFS is a bonus. It is fun money. But we get paid pretty well around these parts. All right, so we delete all of these rates. Apparently, I gave Brad Wanamaker Bradley Beal's minutes, which is one of those things that happened. What's up, God's helpers? All right, so now we can hit the rates for this team. So, Kuzma, Beal, Dinwiddie, all three guys playing in a game for the Wizards. Beal has a 31% usage rate. Kyle Kuzma has a 20% usage rate. KCP, 17% usage rate. Spencer Dinwiddie, 18.5% usage rate. That is the key piece here. We'll go to 19 because we always think that he's going to become slightly better than that. If I won the 100K, would I bring the gold tips back for a week? Sure. What do I care? It's just hair. I'll do just about anything. Save that for a loppy mustache bet type joint. Actually, here's what we want to do. Let's add one more here. Let's add two more there. Let's thin these all out to the same size. And then fill that with black to separate easier. There we go. Make that step smaller. All right, assist rates. Bradley Beal, 8% per possession. We'll bump it up a little bit. I can't imagine KCP's rate changes. Kyle Kuzma doesn't really change. And then Spencer Dinwiddie does see his assist rate come down a little bit. That also makes sense. And as we look finally at the rebounding rates, Beal, I'm sure, doesn't change. KCP, I'm sure, doesn't change. Kuzma's rebounding rate is massively higher. And then Spencer Dinwiddie does see a little bit of a bump. We're not really rostering anything here from the Wizards, but it is helpful to get the rates correct. So as we look at Philly, Tyrese Maxey just flies off the page here. 5,800 on FanDuel, 6K on DraftKings. He's been at 0.74 FanDuel points per minute over the last 30 days. Let's actually look at that. So if we go to Philly, last 30 days, if we do, what's today, 117, this minus 30, December 18th. Okay. Should have been able to do that a little bit better, but I didn't. December 13th for the Sixers. Since December 13th, we've got Tyrese Maxey at 0.8 fantasy points. So maybe my threshold is off a little bit, but he still has the 20% usage rate. Assist rate is the same. 57% true shooting. He's shooting 89% from the line, 45% from three. I'm comfortable projecting him at 0.85. He's been solid, especially against Washington. So fire up Tyrese Maxey. He's one of the best plays that you're going to find today relative to salary. I don't really know where else I can go there for a guy with a close to a neutral usage playing 36 minutes in the mid fives. Like, that is valuable today. It just is to me. So fire up your Maxies. Tobias looks fine. Embiid looks fine. There's not much else here from Philly. You would think the extra minutes would open up, but they don't. And then on Washington, you can make a case that everybody's bad. On FanDuel in particular, like $9,500 Kuzma, I don't even think that he could actually get to where he needed to be. So don't play anybody from the Wizards if Bradley Beal is in. We move it along. Game number 4. Brooklyn Nets in Cleveland, which means, I don't know if he's healthy or not, but we can have Kyrie Irving today. That helps. So as we go to Brooklyn, Kyrie's available. Oh, yeah, we have no Durant now. So that'll be hard to figure out. Claxton is questionable. Still no Joe Harris. No Aldridge. So let's get Durant out of there. This one's actually going to be pretty confusing. All right, so we knew Durant got hurt last time out. That was on Saturday the 15th. So let's check out that charting, and we'll see that when Durant got hurt, Kessler Edwards checked in. Kessler Edwards, Cam Thomas didn't start, did start the second half, play all of the third quarter and all of the fourth quarter, but that is also without Kyrie. So we're probably going to get Patty Mills off the bench. This is going to be a confusing rotation to set. So I like the 30 minutes for Patty Mills off the bench. I like 36 minutes here for Kyrie. And then I do like having 36 minutes for Harden. It just feels like that needs to be 38 now. We're going to take Bembry's minutes out. We're going to take David Duke's minutes out. Cam Thomas's minutes out. Claxton being questionable is a complicating factor here. It's a hamstring tightness, and I know that he didn't play the last time out. Hasn't played in 3 games. Let's assume that he can play for now and play his normal run if he does. We also have LaMarcus Aldridge as probable. So I'm going to say that LaMarcus Aldridge and Nick Claxton split the minutes at the 5. We have 88 minutes to go to the other people on this team. Now, the guys that are most likely to get those minutes, to me, are Cam Thomas, who's been playing a ton as of late anyway, has played 30 minutes in 3 games out of his last 6, 26 plus in at least 5 of 6. I have no reason to suspect that he's not earmarked for 28 minutes. So I think we put him in there first. Kessler Edwards has played significantly more as of late. He's averaged 30 minutes over the last 3. We did see him play 25 with no Durant. That also had no Patty Mills. Seems like Kessler Edwards is in for at least 24 minutes. 26 seems safest. That leaves me 34 minutes for 2 more guys. Bruce Brown and DeAndre Bembry seem like the first 2. Now, we also have the issue where Blake definitely played a little bit more in the second half than he would have in the first half. Bruce Brown actually played less than that and played the garbage run. So maybe we go to Blake first. Although if Bembry's just going to play like 16 minutes, maybe we go 16. And I'm just going to go 9 and 9. I know that doesn't make a ton of sense, but I think it's okay. The real problem lies here in trying to figure out the rates for this team. So what we can do is add in last year. And then we're going to get games in which Kyrie Irving played, James Harden played. And just out of curiosity, do they have how many games did they do like this where Durant didn't play at all? I just want to know how many games there were first. Sean Carroll, what's up? Is that legit? So they've played 19 games with Harden and Kyrie without Durant. I mean, I'm going to go with that then. That's a lot. That's more than enough here for me to figure this out. Now, it's not going to give us actually, let's how big does it change if we go to off? Harden's played 677 minutes with Irving and Harden in. What about with just Durant off too? Okay, it does bump us up a little bit, but what we're really trying to do is, like, we have no sample for someone like Patty Mills, which I think is also okay. Let's also add... No, I don't need that player filter. I want to take Joe Harris off too and go from there. Happy to be the voice you fall asleep to. Hopefully that's helpful. Shit, I guess I'm going to leave Joe Harris on. I think that's fine. So, Durant off, Irving and Harden played in the game. Let's see what we get here. So first we grab everything including usage. That's step 1. Then we get assists, because this team is so different depending on who's in or out. There's no other way to do it other than to make sure you're digging into this at a deeper rates basis. Finally, we get rebounds. And some of these guys we're just not going to be able to save. Like, we're not going to have the info. Most of these guys won't matter anyway, which is helpful. So as we kill these rates, we'll start with Harden. Harden, 29.6% usage rate in this sample, 822 minutes. I'm willing to go directly with that. Kyrie, 32.5% usage rate. That works for me. Now, the rest of these guys are probably not going to matter at all. It's just a bunch of usage rates that no one gets to use. So, other than LaMarcus Aldridge, who doesn't have a big sample, I'll let that be higher. Same for Patty Mills. Changing Harden's usage rate and Kyrie's usage rate and locking them in puts everybody to a point where I don't have to really stress about the rest of them. They just all fall into place. Harden's assist rate, 14.7%. So let's lock that in, and then we'll lock in his defensive rebounding, which is 10.5. Kyrie's assist rate does go up slightly. He certainly doesn't rebound nearly as much. I don't think that I have to change anybody else's rates. Claxton's, everything else sort of stays the same. So I'm pretty comfortable with what I have here. It's going to allow some guys from Brooklyn to pop up if you think you get the rotation right, but it's mostly Harden and Kyrie, which I don't think anybody's surprised by. Let's look at their opponent. They are taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the Cavs, Q tag on Lamar Stevens, no Rondo. That should be pretty easy to hash out. We take Rondo out. We leave in Lamar Stevens. And this is basically the same thing we saw this last time out. So we've got 35 minutes in for Garland, 35 minutes in for Mobley, 34 minutes in for Jared Allen, and 30 in for Markkanen. I am going to go ahead and make that 32. It leaves us 13 minutes as a backup point guard. It appears that that's just Brandon Goodwin. And then Cleveland's rates are all going to be set, so nothing else to change there. As we look at Brooklyn, James Harden, 10-8 on FanDuel, 11-8 on DraftKings. That is the best thing you're going to get from Brooklyn. $8,900 Kyrie on FanDuel stands out quite a bit. $9,800 on DK, a little bit less so. Nothing else from Brooklyn looks appealing to me. On the Cavs, I'd say Jared Allen looks best. $7,800 on FanDuel, plus you get the power forward eligibility. $7,700 on DraftKings isn't ideal. Mobley and Garland are both fine. Isaac Okoro on DraftKings for $3,400 if you need value, but it's not very good. Not a ton here. Let's save this too. All right, we're 40 minutes in, 116 viewers, just 53 likes. We're getting a little fast and loose with not wanting to hit that like button, guys. So if you're here and you're watching the process show and it's 7 o'clock in the morning or earlier for you, hit that like button. It helps us out. Indiana Pacers, 2-point dogs in LA against the Clippers. I don't have a single idea who's available for Indiana, but I'm thinking it's everybody. Minus questionable tag on Brogdon. Yeah. Q tag on Brogdon. Oh, so no Miles Turner and no Jeremy Lamb. That right there has become very interesting. So let's just take a quick look here to see who's played the most for Indiana in games where Miles Turner didn't play. I don't even know how many games that is this season. Can't be a lot. Ooh, we got last year on there too. So there's only been one game that Miles Turner did not play this season. No, wait, that can't be true. Yeah, there it is. One game. So we need to take Miles Turner off. We want to say these are games where LeVert, Sabonis both played. The real question here is, do we go back to Malcolm Brogdon, or does he just have a stupid Q tag like all week where we actually never get him back in the game? Because these rolling Q tags on Brogdon are starting, like he doesn't appear to be questionable at all. He appears to just be hurt. But I guess if he's questionable, we have to assume that he is in. So we're going to take LeVert, Sabonis, and Malcolm Brogdon. And we'll say that all three played in the game. This should give us a decent sample. It certainly gives us enough on Sabonis, who I assume is just going to play most of the center minutes. The problem really lies in that they don't have a lot of fours, and it's easier to give Goga minutes than it is. Like, how many minutes have Goga and Domantas Sabonis played alongside each other? It can't be a lot. But I think this is really important. So, when Goga has been on the floor, Sabonis has only played 4 minutes alongside him. Has Goga really only played 33 minutes? Oh, sorry, I got the I had the filter all the way back to December still. So they have played Domantas Sabonis alongside Goga for a little bit. I'm going to say that Goga plays 16 minutes here. No, 14 minutes. Because he does pop his head in from time to time. And then we're going to say that Sabonis plays at least a little bit alongside of him. You would think O'Shea Brissett would be the guy that would just like jump into a bunch of minutes. I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case. I think they might just go a little bit smaller and go Justin Holiday. Now, I also know that I need to get Malcolm Brogdon on the floor. We're going to say that he plays 28 minutes. We definitely need to get LeVert up to his like standard issue 33. So I don't have that many minutes left over to go around here. We'll take Lance and Jeremy Lamb off. We'll make sure that we get Torrey Craig in for his like 24 minutes. Actually, we'll go 22 to Torrey Craig since he's Torrey Craig. We'll give Lance 13. I will bump O'Shea Brissett up to 22, but I also want to bump Justin Holiday up to 30. That leaves me 14. Someone can play them. I'm going to give them the Lamb if he's healthy. Let me look at one quick thing here. Basketball. Doug, no. Ja is the favorite for most improved. I think those rates are all fine. Now we just need to figure out how good they actually are. And I think that filter makes some sense. Turner off, Sabonis, Brogdon, LeVert playing. It's not the biggest sample in the world, but I think it serves its purpose for what we need. So let's grab everything down to Goga. Got it. It's wild because we don't actually see Sabonis get the changes that we used to see. And I don't know if that's just a Rick Carlisle thing or a Sabonis thing, but it is intriguing. Guys are making me look at all sorts of different stuff at the exact same time here. Can't help myself. Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Did I paste those rebounds in yet? Nope, because I am easily distracted and dumb. There we go. All right. So this should cover us for basically Sabonis mostly at the 5, at least for this team. We're going to kill every rate that we have in here. Brogdon, 23% usage rate in the times where Turner is off and everybody else is in. I think that's very interesting. It's also meaningless if he's not playing his full stretch. The assist rate is really what takes the haircut. Rebounding goes down, but that also doesn't matter. LeVert, 24.8% usage rate with no Turner in and these guys all available. Assist rate goes down considerably. All of these guys just end up looking way, way, way worse. Sabonis takes a hit in usage. Assist rate goes down slightly. Now, I'm guessing his rebounding goes up. Yeah, rebounding goes up considerably. But then we get like Justin Holiday, who somehow gets like a giant usage bump. I don't think that that's real at all, but I will give him a mild one. Assists and rebounding probably doesn't change too much. Don't really have to make any changes for O'Shea Brissett or Chris Duarte. I mean, I guess Duarte's usage can come down. Everything else seems fine. I just don't think we're going to be all that interested in rostering Indiana. And I assume, based on everything that I remember over the past few days, that the Clippers rotation is going to be a pain. And the more important piece of all of this, I assume that Malcolm Brogdon just doesn't play. Now, we got a doubtful tag on Luke Kennard, so we're leaving him out. No Paul George, no Kawhi Leonard. We did get Isaiah Hartenstein back the last time out, so this is actually a relatively full-strength Clippers team, just without the two best parts of the Clippers. Gotta love it. So Hartenstein is back. I expect him to start playing again. Zubats, I think, is going to start playing less. Serge Ibaka can play a bit less. We got Batum in for 28 minutes. We've got Marcus Morris in for 32. Brandon Boston in for 18. Amir Coffey in for 28. Terrence Mann in for 32. Take that to 30. Reggie Jackson in for 30. Honestly, could probably take that down to 28. That gives me 9 for Hart and Stein. And I don't have any other rates to change. These are all the same as last time. Unfortunately, Terrence Mann, Reggie Jackson, and Eric Bledsoe look good. Maybe I need to take a minute off of Eric Bledsoe. Take him down. Yeah, we'll take him down 1 additional minute. Bump Amir Coffey up 1 more. All right, that game took a little bit longer than we would have liked. Indiana, 2-point dogs. I like Sabonis without any Turner. If Brogdon's out, LeVert and Holiday and everybody will look a little bit better. But for right now, assuming Brogdon plays, I don't want a ton of Indiana other than Sabonis. And then on the Clippers side, Reggie Jackson and Terrence Mann are both solid, if not unspectacular. Not a lot to really like here, and just in general. So let's go ahead and go to the Chicago Bulls, game number 6. So we're at basically at the halfway point now. This one's going to take forever. We're going to be here till 8 o'clock. We'll go to the Bulls. Judging by what I'm seeing here, somebody else is... Oh, yeah, Zach LaVine's hurt. I forgot. So we've got... Oh, and no Lonzo. So no Lonzo, no Caruso, no LaVine, no Javonte Green, no Derek Jones. We are scratching this entire rotation. This one is about to be tricky, and I don't even know how big of a sample we're going to have to try to figure this out, but the Bulls pretty much have to look good here. So this last time out, we had no Lonzo, we had no Zach LaVine. So it's going to be the same rotation that we just got, I believe. I don't know who Malcolm Hill is. I got to find out if I have him on a team right now. I think he used to be on the Hawks. Yeah. Oh, still is on the Hawks, at least in my model. So let's go ahead and get it so that we can get to Malcolm Hill here. Okay. So let's start at point guard, where Kobe White is just going to play 36 minutes. Like, we know that's coming. And I think that we can assume that Vooch is going to play 34, 35 minutes in a competitive game. I'm going to say that Tony Bradley backs him up just because they don't have much of a choice. I think it's safe to say that DeMar DeRozan is going to play 36 minutes here. And it seems safe to say that Dosunmu is going to play 36 minutes. The rest of this is sort of up in the air. Did Alfonso McKinney start this last time out? It's against Boston. Vooch, White, DeRozan, McKinney, Dosunmu. I assume they're doing that again. So we're going to give Alfonso McKinney 28 minutes. I think that seems fine. I have no idea how big Malcolm Hill is. He is 6'6". Alrighty. We also get Troy Brown, Malcolm Hill. So Troy Brown, Malcolm Hill, and Matt Thomas have to split 56 minutes. So that's basically 18 minutes apiece. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they went to a 9-man rotation. So yeah, let's just do that then. We're going to go... We'll go Matt Thomas, 18 minutes. We'll go Malcolm Hill, 18 minutes. And then Troy Brown, 20 minutes. Seems close enough. Now, are we even able to figure out a rotation here for the Bulls? So we definitely need to take Zach LaVine off. That is an easy spot so far. And I think we want to take Lonzo off as well. And we want to say, hopefully, that Vooch and DeRozan played in the game. Do we get a legitimate sample here? Not really, but we get as much as we can hope for. So, let's grab these rates and figure out what we need to do with at least the brief sample we have of the Chicago Bulls. So, we'll start here. And really, it's going to be problematic, but at the same time, not a lot of people get this kind of sample, so we're going to hope for the best. It is a good spot, you would think, with all of these free minutes available. Let's cut out all those rotations or cut out all of those old rates. We'll grab the rebounding rates. Alrighty. Let's see what we get here. Because it's not a big sample. But we'll start with DeMar DeRozan since he is the biggest piece of this game. 39% usage rate with no LaVine, no Lonzo, and assuming that Vooch has also played. No, I can't go to 39, but I will go to like 36. He's going to pop like crazy. Assist rate goes down a little bit, which doesn't surprise me. He's going to shoot more. Rebounding stays the same. Now, Kobe White's played 163 minutes in this scenario. 24% usage rate. I actually do agree with that. So I'm going to take him up a little bit higher. I'm guessing... No, assist rate doesn't change. Rebounding rate doesn't really change. Dosunmu, 16% usage rate. I'm going to at least leave him in for what his normal rates are. Alfonso McKinney is just going to be his normal self. Dosunmu doesn't really do anything else. Final guy here is Vooch. He's only played 88 minutes in this scenario. 21.5% usage rate. Now that seems implausible, at least a bit. But I think it's also fine. Because there's no other way for us to shorten this. In theory, we could put... We can not care about Lonzo on or off. I don't think it's going to matter all that much. Maybe we see a change. Because basically, we just want to get Vooch's assist rate right. Or, sorry, a usage rate right. 24.88 if we don't care if Lonzo is on. And then DeMar DeRozan's is still in the 36s, so I feel safe there. Kobe White is still at 23, so I feel safe there. So I'm going to put Vooch in for what amounts to basically his normal 25% usage rate. We don't really worry about his assist rate. I don't think that that's going to be like something we care too much about, although it does appear that they do go to him a little bit more. Rebounding rate can stay the same. So that's Chicago for me. Let's look at the Memphis side of this game now. There's going to be a lot of value for Chicago based on whatever slate they're in. I have no idea. For the Memphis Grizzlies, we're going to be looking at still no Dylan Brooks. Everything else is the same. So we probably don't have to make any changes here. We got Ja in for 34. We're going to go to 33. Give Tyus a little bit more. We know that we have Steven Adams back now. I'm going to go to a 24-24 split for he and Brandon Clark. We've got Jaren Jackson in for 29. That's what happens when it's competitive. 20 for Zaire. 24 for Slow-Mo. I mean, these guys bounce around so much. Conchar can play just about anything. DeAnthony Melton is just playing like no minutes right now, which is just truly bizarre. But I think this covers us for Memphis too, and we don't really have to change any rates. So it's time to look at Chicago, which is going to stand out. Again, they're 5.5-point dogs. Hit that like button, by the way. We're getting dangerously close to 100. DeMar DeRozan for 8,500 on FanDuel looks incredible. At 9,300 on DraftKings, he still looks okay, but the just power forward eligibility is annoying. Although he is basically just a power forward. Kobe White pops off the page aggressively. 5,600 on FanDuel, 6K on DK. Dosunmu, 4,200 and 4,600. Great point per dollar play. You kind of need a lot out of him. But, you know, his boom score is 33 on DraftKings. He can get there. But you need every minute here. So I think he's like an interesting fade, depending on where the ownership comes in. Vooch looks good for 9,200 and 8,900. And I think that Alfonso McKinney is worth a look at the flat minimum on DraftKings. I'd rather get to McKinney than Dosunmu. I think there's more upside in McKinney than Dosunmu. That's where we're at for Chicago. For Memphis, Morant and Bane on DraftKings. Otherwise, nothing. Moved pretty quickly through that one. On to Milwaukee, Atlanta, which is either really easy to do or really difficult to do. We'll start on the Milwaukee side. For Milwaukee, no Drew Holiday, no Brook Lopez. So I'm thinking this is basically the rotation I had last time out. We've got DiVincenzo in for 20 minutes. Pat Connaughton in for 28, which I think happens eventually, right? 32 for Portis, 34 for Giannis. Mamu doesn't play. Let's take Semi out and Hood out. Middleton in for 34. Wara in for 30. Guess not. He must have got hurt here, right? I don't know, S&P. Is he valuable? That's the bigger question. Well, who the hell else is going to be playing here? Oh, Grayson Allen is back. All right. So we'll go to 26 on Pat Connaughton. Actually, we'll go to 24 on Pat Connaughton. We'll go to 26 on Grayson Allen. I mean, I think the goal is going to be to play Jordan Wara like 18 minutes. And then Rodney Hood like a very small amount. Oh, George Hill also back. I'm doing a bad job of reading this. So Let's get George Hill in for 24 minutes. Connaughton in for 24 minutes. Grayson Allen in for 28. Hood in for 12. Wara in for 12. That's a 9-man rotation. That ain't it either. We'll do 34 for Giannis. Okay, now we're closer. We'll do 16 for Wara. 18 for Hood. Am I missing anybody? Ooh, Wes Matthews is in for 30. Yeah, I think that works. Did I give minutes to somebody that... Why is that not highlighted in green? Are Milwaukee's salaries not available in one of these files? Did I not copy? Are they not on a slate? Is Milwaukee not on a DraftKings slate? Is this the 6 o'clock game? It is. Okay, so Milwaukee's not on a DraftKings slate. I was wondering why they weren't populating the way that I wanted them to. Rates can all stay the same for this team because it's without Drew. I don't know why I'm going to Ken Palm. That's wrong. So, SMP, I got to do this. Melton, 49% true shooting this year, shooting 31% from 3, 50% true shooting in 2020, 47 in 28. He had an outlier season last year and was still neutral usage, neutral true shooting. He just happened to shoot 41% last year, which looks like an outlier. I don't think they're missing anything by not playing him. I think his career has been like, he gets a lot of steals. That's interesting. You know, he works okay on the second unit. I don't think that they're missing anything by not playing him. It's a lot of defensive value, basically no offensive value, and I could take that defensive value and let it go, if we're being honest. Let's check out Atlanta now. I'm going to try to pick up the pace a little bit. Otherwise, we're going to be here forever. So it looks like Bogdan Bogdanovic is out. So no Bogdan Bogdanovic, no Clint Capella. So let's try to figure this one out. We saw Gorgie Jang start recently. Okongwu not start. So we're going to take him down to 24 minutes. We saw Gorgie Jang play about 14. Think that's fine here. Which allows us to go John Collins to 32. We're going to say DeAndre Hunter. Gallo has been playing about 28. We're going to give him 26. That allows us to go to 30 minutes for DeAndre Hunter. We've already got 35 in for Trey, 13 in for DeLon Wright. Apparently, DeLon Wright can be playing a little bit more than that, so let's give him 19. We've got Herter in at 31. We've got TLC in at 17. So we're basically just missing one guy, which apparently is Lou Will. So let's give Lou Will 12 minutes and walk away. Easy Atlanta rotation. I guess we do want to look at it quickly. So I wanted to move faster, but let's say we're going to take Bogdanovic off, Clint Capella off, Cam Reddish off, and we'll say that Trae Young played and John Collins played. This should be an okay sample size. Okay enough, I guess. Let's hustle and get all these rates loaded in. It's not going to be the biggest sample for like someone like DeAndre Hunter. And in theory, we could probably go back to last year in a situation like this. But I think we're okay. Because I think it's going to be mostly directionally accurate. It's not like they have got a lot of guys on their team whose roles change all that frequently. So I think it'll just make sense. Whoop. One too many. There we we go. I was wondering why some of these guys only had 1 rebound. There we go. So now let's take a peek here at the rates for the Hawks. And it's incredible that we're spending as much time as we are on this one, given it's not a part of any main slate. But let's go ahead and get Trae Young in. When those guys are off, 126 minutes, 37% usage rate. So we'll go to 36. He does see a bit of a assist rate drop. So I am going to cut that a bit. John Collins, probably the only other guy that really matters here. 21% usage rate. Doesn't see the rebounding bump that you would expect. Kevin Huerter gets into the 20s in usage, which I do think is interesting. I do want to give him that little bit of a bump. But, like, Gallo doesn't do anything interesting. He doesn't, like, rebound more or anything good. Okongwu doesn't really do anything else. Hunter has only played 58 minutes. He doesn't really do much else. So that's Atlanta. Yeah, so it's good for the FanDuel slate because I know that it's on there and they lock at 6. Not all that interesting for the DK side. So that's Milwaukee and Atlanta. For Milwaukee, Giannis looks great at 11-3 on FanDuel. Bobby Portis looks really good at 6,300 power forward center. For the Atlanta side, Trae, Collins, Huerter, Hunter, Gallo, Okongwu all look relatively similar. You can say Trae Young's the best option, but it's not a priority. So we're an hour and 7 minutes into this show at this point. We've gone through 7 games. We've got 5 games left. Now we're on to what is the definite main slate for every single team. First one up is Portland at Orlando. Now we know Dame's going to be out for a while. I believe CJ's back. Yeah. Dame gone, CJ back. No Nance, no Zeller. Let's start this entire rotation over. Q tag on Norm Powell, potentially coming out of the COVID protocols. I'm going to assume he's playing for right now. We are going to have to change a ton of rates for Portland. And we have no idea how many minutes CJ is going to be able to play coming back. He's been out for over a month. Collapsed lung. Doesn't feel like he just dives back into like a shit ton of minutes. So let's go ahead and start Simons straight away. 34 minutes. I'm going to say that CJ can play 30. We're going to give DSJ backup point guard runs. We're going to give Yusuf Nurkic 30 minutes. We're going to say Robert Covington plays 32. We're going to say that Nas Little plays 28. We're going to say that Norm Powell plays... Now, he's been out for 4 games. We'll say 32. That's true, T. McBee. Lungs are overrated in this cardiovascular sport. All right, so Snell, Ellaby, McLemore. So I guess they were willing to go to just like Little or Covington or whatever at the 5 because it's not anybody else. That's 7 guys in the rotation. You figure McLemore is 8. He plays 20. And then Tony Snell plays 20. I'm going to say that that's their rotation. Now let's just move this around to be in the proper shape. So let's give Covington the backup center minutes. We'll get Nas Little locked in there at the 4. We'll go something like that. And something like that. Now, we're going to need way different rates, which are also complicated because of CJ having missed so much time. But luckily for us, we're well-versed in grabbing rates here. If we go to Portland, we take Damian Lillard off the floor in games that CJ McCollum played and Yusuf Nurkic played. I have no idea how big this sample is going to be. And I don't think Nance matters here. Okay, that's enough minutes that I think we can be happy here. Because Nance doesn't have the sort of rates that matter. We need to know what CJ does and what Simons does, and I think those are the two most important pieces. So first and foremost, we'll grab usage rates. Man, this is a monster show today. So for you guys that are wondering, contenders videos are just going to be for the main slate. There's no real, they'd be a waste otherwise. Deeper dive and live before lock tonight. I don't really know what that schedule is going to look like, but obviously we're covering the main slate and nothing else. Adam and I are definitely going to hit on the early. I don't know if we're going to hit on the late or not yet. I'm not entirely sure we should, but we'll see. All right, so rates are in. Let's check it out. What is this sample with no Dame and these other guys on? CJ McCollum, no Dame. Yusuf Nurkic also available. 328 minutes, 31% usage rate. Assist rate doesn't change. Rebounding rate doesn't really change. And I don't think he's playable tonight anyway. Simons goes to a 23.5% usage rate. Assist rate doesn't really change, so that's fine. Nurk has played 127 minutes in this scenario. 18.7% usage rate, so I'm not changing his usage rate at all. Norm Powell sticks right around where his normal rates are. I don't believe that I should change Nurkic's rate a lot. I do think I need to bring it down a little. We don't really see any major changes here for anybody on this team. Robert Covington's usage goes up a bit. Yeah, Cantor. Schedule today equals questionable. All right. Other than Nurkic, there's not really a ton of priorities here for Portland. For Orlando, I'm assuming this either looks awful or easy, the same way that everything does for Orlando. No Wendell Carter Jr., no Isaac, no Fultz, MCW, or Etuan Moore. Robin Lopez is available. So let's gut this quickly. I don't think that I have to change rates because I think I have the same guys out that were out, but I think it's just easier to load these guys back in from scratch. And as we do that, we go to Cole Anthony. I'm going to say in for 32 minutes. We're going to say that Mo Bamba starts at center, plays 20. Robin Lopez probably plays 20. And then maybe we give Mo Wagner like 14 minutes, 16 minutes even. We know, generally speaking, Gary Harris is going to play like 30 minutes. We know that... Oh, we still got to give Jalen Suggs minutes. Suggs has been back for 2. He's played 22 and 24. We'll say that he can get to 28 here after another 2 days off. So let's go to 28 for Harris then. Franz Wagner's minutes seem the safest at 32. And then everybody else that we would be projecting in here probably doesn't matter all that much. I think Terrence Ross's minutes are about to be discounted heavily. So let's give Terrence Ross something like 26. RJ Hampton can play about 20. Oh, no, somebody's taking a haircut. Chuma Okeke needs like 26 minutes. So I need to find 8 minutes for Chuma Okeke. I think the best place they're going to come from is RJ Hampton for sure. And a little bit of Mo Wagner. But rates can all stay the same. No real changes here. We got Suggs in, Harris, Wagner, Anthony, Okeke. All these guys were in. So there's actually a lot to like for Orlando, unfortunately. As we look at... Shit, who does Orlando play? Portland. As we look at Portland. Nurk 7,500 on FanDuel is my favorite Portland option. 8,100 on DraftKings I think is still fine. I'm probably not rostering much of anything from Portland. Covington for 5,900 seems reasonable. On the Orlando side, though, $7,300 Cole Anthony, $5,700 Franz Wagner, $4,800 Jalen Suggs. I like all three of those guys. Way more to like on Orlando than you should really want to have happen. So next up, we go to Toronto. Toronto at Miami. This one could either be very simple or very complicated, because Toronto has had some guys in and out. For the Raps, Q-tag on Trent, no Khem Birch. Looks like Barnes is just fine now. So let's take Khem Birch out of there. We're assuming that Gary Trent is available to play. And he's going to play like 33 minutes. So let's hash out the Toronto Raptors. We're going to move 20 minutes of OG Anunoby to the right. We're going to move 20 minutes of... Well, we're definitely going to move the Siakam minutes. Get him to 36. Because right now, we don't have too much playing time left. 26. All right, so Boucher has just been playing a ton as of late. I'm going to give him 26 minutes. I've got Precious Achiuwa in for 22. I actually think that I can give more of the minutes here, but I think now that Barnes is back, I think a 26-22 split for Boucher. Maybe we go 24-24. I don't know what I just sorted by. I do have 6 minutes left over. Do they go to Champagne? Do they go 8-man rotation Champagne in? Or do they just go even longer and play Boucher for 30 minutes? I think that can go many different directions. Do they just play? I don't think they do. I don't think they have enough minutes that they want to do that. So I'm going to say Champagne plays 16, which ultimately doesn't matter. I unfortunately do have to change the rates. But at the same time, I actually don't think that I do. I'm just going to let this sit the way that it is. At which point, unfortunately, Gary Trent and Scotty Barnes look really good on FanDuel. Let's look at Miami now. All right, so Miami's got a lot of crap up in the air. No Kyle Lowry. Bam is now questionable, which I heard he's actually just going to be in during a podcast. So let me look at that. Monday was supposed to be the target date. All right, I'm going to say that Bam is in today for some sort of amount of minutes. Been out for a while. So let's start this entire Miami rotation from scratch. I'm going to say that Bam Adebayo, they have no reason to rush him, especially with no Kyle Lowry. So I'm going to have Bam and Yurtseven split the center minutes. PJ Tucker gets 30 at the 4. We're going to assume that Gabe Vincent plays a ton. So in games that Kyle Lowry has not played, I just want to see who gets the biggest minutes bump. So Kyle Lowry's missed 4 games. Gabe Vincent's played the 4th most minutes behind Butler, Hero, and Robinson. So I'm giving Gabe Vincent 28 minutes. We're certainly giving Tyler Hero 34 at a minimum. And we know that we're giving Jimmy Butler, 36 in this spot. So then we don't really have too much else that we have to worry about, because Duncan Robinson's just going to fall into some bigger minutes. He hasn't been playing as much as of late. I don't think that's going to be the case fully moving forward. But they do have this Max Strus, Caleb Martin, Duncan Robinson trio that becomes problematic. I wonder if Dedmon plays ahead of Yurtseven. But I don't know. By the way, 98 likes. If you hit that like, we're going to get up over 100. We got 180 people in here. I'm going to go 22 to Duncan Robinson. And then I think, maybe 26 to Max Strus and 16 to Caleb Martin. Not sure what else we can do there. I don't want to have to change these rates, but I have to just because Lowry being out is important. So we're going to say Lowry off, and we're going to say games where Bam, Butler, and Hero all played. I don't know how big this sample is going to be, and it's going to be a lot more at the beginning of the season, but that's it. We get to 190 some minutes. That should be enough here. Because really all we're worried about is Butler, Hero. How many minutes has Bam played with Kyle Lowry off the floor? Oh, I see. I have my filter set incorrectly. This might actually get worse than what we needed. Okay, there we go. There's Bam. Yeah, these samples are just so small. I'm guessing, actually, Bam playing in the game is going to be less important for Butler and Hero. So let's go exactly 2 and say that Butler and Hero are in. Because that'll be enough for Bam, but it'll give us more for the ball handlers. I don't need to go any lower here than Bam. There we go. Now we're getting the rates. Because unfortunately, Miami matters. 751. This is going to be the longest. This is going to be the longest process show we'll ever do. So I hope you guys are excited. You guys can say, I remember when the process show went like the old strategy shows, and it went for 2 hours. Because that's apparently what we're doing here today. We're going 2 hours. At least it feels like we are. We might be going straight to the strategy show. I don't really see what else I could do on a day like today. I mean, it's just a lot of basketball spread out. All right, so rates. We'll start with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's played 362 minutes with no Kyle Lowry on the floor in games that both he and Hero played. Butler has a 28% usage rate in those games. Does see a little bit of a bump to his assist rate. No other changes. Tyler Hero, 29% usage rate here. Big time assist rate bump. And actually a small rebounding bump. Process before lock for the noon slate. That's actually probably what I should have done. Just did a live before lock myself. And then I just don't think Bam's going to be on the floor enough. But he's basically still the same guy that he normally is. Wouldn't have been the worst idea, Team McBee. Wouldn't have been the worst one at all. I don't have any other changes here that I need to make. The rest of these guys don't do anything different. So that's Toronto and Miami. Ron, it does not taste like grass today. For Toronto, I really love Scotty Barnes on FanDuel. Gary Trent to a lesser extent. I'm probably not playing anybody else from Toronto anywhere else. On the Miami side, love Jimmy Butler, 9,100 and 8,900. Probably not playing much of anything from Miami other than maybe Hero for 7,500. Ugh. And now I got to talk about stupid Oklahoma City. I hope they're just healthy. So I can just be like, play Shea, play Giddy, play Dort, and then get the hell away from this team. That's the hope. OKC. Everybody's healthy except for Kenrich Williams, which means this shouldn't be all that complicating. Trey Mann appears to be back and playing a little bit more. So we'll take Aaron Wiggins down to 22. We'll take Trey Mann up to 21. We've got Gideon for 33. We've got Dort in for 33. We've got Shea in for 35. I think everything else could stay the same. at which point I don't have anything else I want to change. Oklahoma City is Shea, Giddey, and Dort. I don't want to talk about Oklahoma City any longer when I don't have to, so let's go to Dallas. If I'm ever going to skip a team, skipping Oklahoma City feels like the play here. So good to get away from them as fast as possible. For Dallas, everybody for Dallas is healthy, which means let us gut this rotation, start it from scratch, and get the real rates for this team. We're going to say Jalen Brunson. Actually, what would be really interesting here, in games, I want to know how many minutes Jalen Brunson plays when everybody's available. In games where Porzingis starts, Brunson starts, and Luka starts, how many minutes does Jalen Brunson play? They've only done that once? That can't be real. Is that real? Am I reading that correctly? Has Jalen Brunson, Luka Doncic, and Kristaps Porzingis all... Is that just because Brunson goes to the bench? I mean, he's started a ton of games this year, hasn't he? Maybe not. Have they really only started one game together? Porzingis, Brunson, Luka start. One game? Could that be real? I guess it's real. All right. Well, that's 30 minutes for Brunson then. It feels incorrect, right? It feels like I'm querying that incorrectly. All right. Reference Mavs starting lineups. Yeah, I mean, they've been in and out of the lineup a lot. So, yeah, apparently that's true. Alrighty, that'll work. Well, we know how to project the rest of this, and it's not as if we're all that interested in this team to begin with. You know, we give Luka his 35 minutes, and we give Porzingis his 30, and we give Dwight Powell his, I don't know, 18. Dorian Finney-Smith plays 32, and Maxey plays 26. By the way, guys, I've come to the conclusion, since we're going so long, we're not running any crunches at the end of this. It's not going to get us anywhere. You know, Reggie Bullock in for 20. Hardaway in for 26. Josh Green in for, we'll go 21. 27. Josh Green in for 21. We call that. And I actually don't really have to change any rates other than sort of just locking Porzingis in. So I think we're good here. And what we're mostly doing here is saying, you know, any one of Shea, Giddey, and Dort works. And then for Dallas, it's basically Luka and nobody else. Like, you're not playing $9,400 Porzingis on FanDuel. You could play $7,900 Porzingis on DraftKings. Yeah, we're going to pack this in after these final two games. No crunches, guys. Tune into the strategy show. Maybe we can dig into it a little bit further, but crunches are going to be meaningless. Every slate on each site is different, and that doesn't help, so. We'll go to Phoenix. Phoenix Suns are 5-point favorites in San Antonio. We've got no DeAndre Ayton, Q-tag on Cam Johnson, and Q-tag on Abdel Nader. I'm going to assume that Ayton is available and playing, at which point... Oh, wait, he's doubtful, so I'm not going to assume that. So we're going to get 26 minutes out of JaVale. I'm going to say 22 minutes out of Jalen Smith. Oh, actually, I forgot that they have Biyombo now. That's a complicating factor. Maybe Biyombo plays 14. Jalen Smith plays 20. And that's everything else for this. I guess we got to get Cam Johnson back out there. Man, who doesn't play then? So I got to get Cam Johnson like 24 minutes. Yeah, maybe they just go to straight Jalen Smith. Although Biyombo did play this last time out after Ayton got hurt. So maybe Jalen Smith... No, Jalen Smith has been playing every day, so why would he stop? Let's give Cam Johnson his minutes first, because I think that matters most. Even though I don't really have a place to give him minutes. So that's 19. We'll give him 21, 8, and 12. And that's fine for me for Phoenix. No real changes happen elsewhere. JaVale just gets monster usage. We go to San Antonio now. Actually, I might have to go let the pup out quickly. I could hear him yapping, which generally means he needs to go out. Give me 1 second, folks. I'll be right back. There we go. Hasn't been going out as much over the past couple of days because it's been crazy cold and raining. So I think he's trying to take advantage of a dry spot right now. Now let's look at San Antonio. Jake Puddle, good. Everybody is available except for Josh Primo, who is now back down. So this should be a pretty easy fix. Get 30 minutes in for Derek White. And we could take... Whoa, was Bryn Forbes really out of the rotation that last game? Yes. Okay. And that was basically with no Josh Primo. That's kind of interesting. So 35 minutes for DeJounte. Oh, yeah, we got Trey Jones back. Not playing, though. Where are these minutes going to go? This is going to be interesting. 30 for Pirtle, 16 for Landale. You know, we got 31 in for Keldon Johnson, which seems okay. 20, I guess Vassell is just playing a little bit more now. McBuckets, I'm going to take back up to his normal 26. We'll get Vassell up to 27. It's leaving me an extra spot. I guess that's just Keita Bates-D out. Paul, thank you for that super chat. I think it's a super chat. There's 14 for Keita Bates-D out. I think we're good then. Yeah, we'll do something like that. Bang, done. Spurs rates can all stay the same for right now, which unfortunately means that we're going to be looking at a lot of Keldon Johnson today. As we look at Phoenix and San Antonio, this one's kind of easy. Phoenix looks pretty good across the board. Booker looks good, underpriced. Chris Paul, underpriced. Remember, this is a pace-up spot against San Antonio. Mikal Bridges for $4,500 on FanDuel is a nice value. JaVale, if he is starting, exceptional on DraftKings at $3,700 in 26 minutes, if that's what you think he's playing. Now, they could split 3 at the center and go to Jalen and Bismack Biyombo. Interesting, though. What we're really paying attention for is who's starting for Phoenix at center. On San Antonio, I think DeJounte Murray looks really good, 10-2 and 10K. I think Keldon Johnson looks good, 4,900 and 5,100. I think you can make a case for like $6,200 Pirtle on FanDuel or $4,600 Vassell on DraftKings. But let's close this out, guys. After 1 hour and 36 minutes of content, final game of the night, Utah Jazz. It's a long day. Utah Jazz, 5.5-point favorites in LA against the Lakers. I have no idea who's available for the Utah Jazz, but pretty sure somebody's doubtful. Yeah. Conley doubtful. No Whiteside, no Jared Butler. So this should be pretty easy to handle. We know what we do when there's no Mike Conley. We get 36 minutes of point guard Donovan Mitchell. We get Whiteside gone, which means we've got Gobert back in for 34 minutes. I'm going to say that we get Rudy Gay at the backup center spot. Because no Whiteside, I don't think that they care if they go to Norvel Pell. So let's say that Rudy Gay plays the backup 4 or backup 5 plus some additional time. Because it's not like he plays all that much. Let's give him 20 minutes. We've got Royce O'Neal in for 34 minutes. We've got Bojan Bogdanovic in for 32 minutes. I'm assuming Joe Ingles starts. We get him up and around 26. We get 28 for Clarkson. Last time we had Conley out, Ingles was also out. Trent Forrest is just going to play, I don't know, like 18 minutes. I've got 12 minutes left over for somebody. I'm going to give them to Pascal. And we're just going to move everybody down a slot. So that'd be 14 and 12 here. 12 and 16. So there we go. Ugh. Yeah, Ron, I wouldn't expect Ingles to have started. Mike Conley played. In theory, I should be bumping these rates. I think that we're going to be fine leaving them as is for right now. So that covers Utah. And then finally on the Lakers side, barring anything totally crazy, I have no idea what the Lakers status is. We've got LeBron probable, no AD, no Kendrick Nunn, Q-tag on Carmelo. So this is just what we normally know as the Lakers. Now, strikes me as a Dwight Howard day or a DeAndre Jordan day or a somebody day. Dwight has played in most of these games lately. So I'm going to say that we get a little bit more run here out of Dwight Howard. But everything else, like it doesn't matter. It's Russ. It's I don't think any of this matters right now. I don't think you could really confidently pick up anybody here from this team. So it's Russ and it's LeBron and to a lesser extent Malik Monk. I have no changes to make here. For Utah, I love Donovan Mitchell on FanDuel at 8,200. That's a dumb price. 9K works. Gobert looks good. Bogdanovich looks good. Joe Ingles, 3,700 and 3,600. Good value. There's a lot to like for Utah here because for the Lakers, I mean, we're talking about a team fourth in pace. Utah's 13th. This is a pace up spot for Utah. That's good. For the Lake Show, I think you got to play a lot of Russ on FanDuel at 8,100. He's not even bad at 9,400 on DraftKings. LeBron looks fine across both sites. Malik Monk looks fine across both sites, but I think that's just it. We've got 12 games on this slate. FanDuel includes the 6 o'clock game in their main slate. DraftKings doesn't. DraftKings doesn't have a big early slate. FanDuel does. Everything's different across every site, so make sure you're paying close attention to what's going on for each one of them. The way that you talk about value changes in this way too, because what's good for value on one site, like on a DraftKings early, it's different because there's 3 games. On a FanDuel one, there's 6. So like even talking about these guys in different ways, I'd have to run 10 crunches right now. So I think we're going to have to call it here. Another process show in the books. I don't know what we've got going on for tomorrow's slate. Let me look that up now. Let's see what we're going to have for the rest of the week. So today is obviously ridiculous. There are 2 games tomorrow. That's real. So tomorrow's useless, which is interesting to see. Fine by me, I guess. Wednesday, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 game Wednesday slate, and I'm off. So remember, no process show for me, no strategy, no contenders, nothing on Wednesday, and I'm dodging a slate that I wouldn't want to play anyway, so I couldn't be happier. Thursday's got a 3-gamer. That's gross too small. Friday, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 games on Friday. What a terrible week of DFS content, but what are we going to do here, folks? That works. Shout out to Prize Picks for being the presenting sponsor. Thank you to you guys for getting me up and over that 100 like mark. Contenders videos coming out a bit later. Strategy show coming up with Adam in a bit. And then Deeper Dive Live Before Lock also tonight. Pay attention. We've got basketball all day. Good luck, everybody. This is The Process.